The Story of Rangay. It was summer and Kabangtalan Beach had never looked more beautiful. The deep, calm blue water and fine white sand of the beach made it the best place to relax. Everything was so beautiful. People were rested comfortably in floating cottages and nipa huts along the beach, while the children ran and swam in the cold blue water. An old man laid beneath a huge old loga tree, listening to the birds and watching the puffy white clouds travel across the sky on a sunny Sunday morning. He loved lying there, listening to the waves, smelling the summer breeze, and helping himself to guava he picked on his way to the beach. His name was Balaigi. He was my father. My mother, Namnama, had a beautiful, long, dark hair, just like my late grandmother. She loved tying up her hair ornaments. She owned clips, headbands, ribbons, and almost all sizes and colors. My name is Rangay. I am a grade 10 student at Sinait National High School. I am an only child. My family and friends would tell me I radiate light because I am filled with good and happy thoughts. Every Sunday, we loved going to the church and eating at Bubble Loca after. We would walk the busy street filled with tricycles, buses that made the loud noises going to the market. My father always brought home surprises for us. When he came from the sea, his sagwan on one hand, his gift hidden on the other. He would walk through the door, kiss me, then turn to my mother. Dropping the sagwan on the floor, he would then raise both hands to her and offer her his gift, a beautiful rose in full bloom. My mother would throw her arms around my father. He would pick her up and embrace her, and two of them would laugh and laugh joyfully. Then, he would set her down and gently slide the flower through her beautiful, shiny hair. She always looked pretty. After dinner, we would all gather around in the living room. We would just watch television. Other times, we would talk about how our day went. Sometimes, my father would read me stories, or sometimes my mother would. Father loved reading newspapers while I brushed the smooth, long, dark hair of my mother. Her hair was as if made of silk. Days before my birthday, my mother got sick. After that day, everything just changed. We couldn't do the things we used to do together anymore. We don't go to the beach to see the beautiful sunset of Kabangtalan or attend Mass at St. Nicholas de Tolentino anymore. My father always had to bring her to the hospital. He said it was so she would get well. After school, I would visit her at Santo Cristo Milagrosa Hospital. I brought along my sketch pad with my latest drawing to show her. Other times, I would sit at the edge of her bed and tell her my stories. Sadly, we couldn't do that for very long, not like before, because she needed to rest. Mother, you seemed thinner and you act slow and weak, I said. I need to rest now, anak. I would kiss her goodbye, but before I leave the room, I noticed that she began to lose her beautiful hair. One day, my mother's trusted hairstylist came in and shaved her hair. I was surprised. When it was all over, she looked at herself in the mirror. She tried to smile, but we knew she felt like crying. She silently stared at herself in the mirror for a long time. Then she smiled again. My father brought out a surprise. It was a headband made of satin ribbons. Gently, he placed the ribbon on my mother's head and kissed her. You are still beautiful with hair or without hair, he said. My mother started to cry. Come here, Rang-ay. Don't be scared, anak. I am here with you. Mother. I started crying and tightly hugged her. Here came my moving up ceremony. My mother was already very sick, so I didn't expect her to be there. My father assisted her into the covered court. I am so proud of you, she said. This certificate is for you, Mother, I replied. I want you to remember when life seems darkest, wait for the rain. I want you to keep your faith in God. Never lose hope. I want you to be happy. And promise me that you will achieve your dream in life, she said. We brought her back into the hospital right after the ceremony. My father and I stayed beside her. I held her hand and just embraced her. Then I started to cry. I am scared, Mother, I whispered as I looked into her eyes. She looked at my father, then to me, and then she looked outside the window. She said nothing for a long time. Remember our good times together. They will make you smile. My mother finally said, love, laugh, and live. Don't stop living. Life is good. I love you, Mother, I said. I love you too, she replied softly. I am in my happy place now. Finally, it doesn't hurt anymore. And that was all she said. My father and I lost her that summer. For a very long time, everything was different. Once she was gone, everything seemed so meaningless without her. Everything became a little easier as the weeks and months passed. We thought we would never stop crying. One Sunday, my father and I decided to go and attend the Mass at St. Nicholas de Tolentino Church. We prayed for Apo Lakay for all the guidance through the years. While praying, I saw a woman near the altar. She reminded me of my mother. The way she walks, her shiny long hair, and her smile. I know it was her. I smile when I remember what my mother told me. I want you to keep in mind that when life seems darkest, wait for the rain. It will wash away all the pains and the tears. Do not lose hope. The sun always comes out in the end.